gumagamit ng
Yes. Okay, fellow Toastmasters, friends and guests, welcome to Pilipinas Toastmasters Club. Okay, I'm your table topic masters for tonight. I'm Belen Gunda, the club president of Pilipinas Toastmasters Club, and I would like to introduce to you our timer, distinguished Rina Tiangco Abe. Say hi, Titi and Rina.
Hi!
Master
Okay,
Belen,
where's
I
the
will be the one
slide?
doing the sharing.
Yes.
I think you have a low bandwidth. I will do the sharing. I'll be the one doing the sharing. Please continue with your introduction first.
So habang nag-iintay po tayo, kami nga po ay ang Pilipinas Toastmasters Club at kami ang natatanging Filipino Speaking Club. Kami ay nagtatagpo tuwing Lunes. Meron kaming pocket meeting at meron kaming regular meeting. Natapos po kami ng 33 sa pinakamata sa 16,200 clubs out of 16,200 clubs. So that's a very high ranking. All right, back to you.
It's okay now, Toastmaster Belen.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to introduce to you Pilipinas Toastmasters. So Pilipinas Toastmasters recharted on July 12, 2019. From the District 75, Division A, Area 5, Club number 7025007. So we are proudly present to you our club strength and milestone. We are the 33rd out of 16,200 clubs and produce 4 DTMs. We are the first Filipino English bilingual in the whole world, and our advocacy is to identify and enrich our own language, Filipino. Okay, our word of the day is preposterous. So correction, it is an adjective, preposterous. Contrary to a reason or common sense, utterly absurd or ridiculous. Example, he had the most preposterous thought of proposing to her while they were underwater. Second example, the new laws are preposterous and will not solve the real crime issue. Okay, our rules for tonight, speakers are free to use any table topics pattern. So our timer again is DTM Rina Tiangco Ape. Timing rules, 1 minute green, 1.5 minutes amber, 2 minutes red. Beyond 2.5 minutes, the timer will mute the speaker. Our theme for tonight, original Filipino music. I read twice the table topic question, then call a club name and recognize the speaker. If it's a race, task, and challenge, I will call the club name first and read the race, task, and challenge. I will call the club name thrice before I read the next club name. Okay, the two best table topic speaker will get a Gcash prize. So are you excited?
Yes,
When
we
you
are.
hear when you hear an OPM, do you remember a person, a place, a moment, or a thing? Are you ready? Number 1 question. Do you remember a person when you hear this OPM song? You've Made Me Stronger by Regine Velasquez. Do you remember a person when you hear this OPM? You've Made Me Stronger by Regine Velasquez. May now call on Cagayan de Oro Toastmasters Club. Any representative from Cagayan de Oro?
Okay, so Coke, fries, madam.
Walang
Cagayan de Oro.
Cagayan? Okay. I will
Hello,
call the...
I believe we have Tita Carms. Toastmaster Carms, are you in?
I am in.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Actually, I'm using my gadget, my mobile phone, because my laptop suddenly stopped
Tita Carms,
working.
you can use that one. You can use. Okay, we can
Okay,
start.
okay. Okay.
All right, let's start with the question.
Yes. You've made me stronger. I don't think any other person will befit this term of stronger. I would think that this is appropriate for my husband because, as you can see, he is always there, although he is not there. And I know that he is always everywhere because he protects me, he monitors me, he looks over me. Fellow Toastmasters, my husband died 7 years ago, and I was depressed. I even became so depressed that I was not able to rise up and go to my office. I am only there in the corner of my house. So frustrating, so tragic, and I cannot do something. Later on, I have to think of something in order for me to be encouraged with what is going on in my life. And I thought of my husband. I really love him. And I wanted to follow what he wanted me to do. And so I rise up. I went to my friends and asked for something that would help me get over my depression. I went to a psychologist, a psychiatrist, an office mate, a pastor, my relatives, and my closest friend. Fellow Toastmasters, if you were in my situation, would you dare to just sit there or do not rise up and just sleep in the corner and not go up and work and go to your office? I experienced that. But all I know is that I rise up, and because of my husband, I became strong. Back to you, table topics.
Thank you, Toastmaster Carmelina from Cagayan de Oro. Next question. Okay, number 2 question. Do you remember a place when you hear this OPM? Natutulog ba ang Diyos by Gary Valenciano? Do you remember a place when you hear this OPM song? Natutulog ba ang Diyos by Gary Valenciano? May we call on
Me,
Timex
Toastmaster,
Toastmasters
Toastmaster
Club?
Belen, if you can
Yes.
give the title in the English version so that our foreign guests can also know what's the meaning in English. If you have the interpretation for that.
Okay. Okay. Timex. Timex Toastmasters Club. Any representative from Timex?
Anyone from Timex? Timex. Can you call it thrice, Toastmaster Belen, to make it official?
Okay, so next club, may we call on the speaker launch? Korea?
Yes, I am here. Yes, AJ here.
Okay, yes, Toastmaster June.
AJ.
Okay,
Yes.
so question. Do you remember a place when you hear this song? Natutulog ba ang Diyos or is our God is sleeping in English?
Okay, thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. I have no idea what this means, but thank you for translating. Is God sleeping? And I remember the place where that is. When I was young, I was hiking on the mountain in Korea, down south. You know, South Korea is south, but the southern part of the South Korea, and I got lost. I lost in the middle of mountain, and sun was setting, but suddenly the sun was just set down because of trees and mountains, valleys. The sun is suddenly hiding away, and I was stuck in the middle of darkness of the mountain. I cannot see any star because of the mountain. The trees were hiding the stars and moon, and I have no idea where I was the time. So I decided to pray for survival, pray for one more day of life, living one more day, and praying. And I was praying to God on the name of Jesus, Buddha, and the holiness or and whatever God you name it. I prayed one more day for the night, and what I got from the answer, the God was sleeping. So I decided to sleep in the middle of the darkness. And then I found myself the next morning. The birds and bugs are waking me up, and I survived the night. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Zoom from the speaker launch.
By the way, I would ask Toastmaster Rina, do you have the access from the co-host to unmute the speaker? Toastmaster Rina.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah. Okay. I think I can do that. Wait.
Okay, please, if we have the one so that we can save time, okay?
Yes,
So
all right. Okay, so I'll unmute if they over time.
Okay, can you continue now, Toastmaster Belen?
Okay, next is a challenge and task questions. May we call on Pikpa Cebu, Toastmasters Club. Pikpa Cebu, are you there?
Hello. I believe my background is.
Can you check the green, something like the green? Okay, it's better now.
Okay, Toastmaster Blaze. Here is your task. Detour means that the table topic speaker has to give the same topic to an audience to answer before delivering his or her speech.
May ato to sa siya. Makita sini, makidua ka bilog ang iya to nga
You have a task. Detour task.
Okay, maybe you can ask someone, anyone maybe you know.
From the audience. So.
From the audience. And may I request the others who are not speaking to please unmute, by the way. Sorry for that we were not going to interrupt our speaker. Thank you so much. So Toastmaster Blaze, anyone from the audience? Or we can ask the audience who would love to volunteer. Okay, anyone from the, maybe we will show the question. This is the question now.
Okay, third question. Do you remember a moment when you hear this OPM? Sana maulit muli. Do you remember a moment when you hear this OPM? Sana maulit muli by Ariel Rivera.
Kita mo? Para kayo man.
Toastmaster Carnes, I guess you have to unmute first. Toastmaster Carnes.
To mute.
I mute, by the way, mute. Okay, anybody? Or maybe we can ask Toastmaster Blaze to ask a fellow racer. Maybe you can ask a fellow racer to answer first.
I believe there are other people who also volunteered.
There are? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I saw someone from the speaker lounge. Okay, Chandra, can you answer that one, Toastmaster Chandra? Okay.
Yes, but what is the meaning of that?
Okay, the topic master, would you like to explain the meaning?
Okay, so remember a moment when you hear this OPM, or what does it remind you of? We can do this again. We can do this again in English, yes. So what does it remind you of?
This reminds me of my students' time. When I tried to get a scholarship, I wanted to go to America, but I got a scholarship to Europe. And I regret it so much. I wish I could go to America. And when I went to Europe for the scholarship, I heard a song saying, "The greatest love of all." So whenever I heard that song, it reminds me of the time when I tried to get the scholarship to the States. But ladies and gentlemen, fortunately, after I got the scholarship to Europe, I went back to my home country, and a few years later, I still could get the time to go to the United States. So I went twice on a scholarship, but that song, "The Greatest Love of All," always reminds me of that time, of that very nice moment. Ladies and gentlemen, try hard, work hard, you will be there. And the song can remind you of all of this. Thank you very much. I will return the control back to the table topic master.
Thank you so much, Speaker Launch. Okay, so are you ready? Pikpa Cebu?
Yes, hello, I'm ready. Should I start now? Okay. So, Sana Mauulit Muli. To be quite frank, I am not very familiar with the song, but based on the title that I've been given, I presume it means there are moments that we wish to happen again. So, a moment that I wish to happen again would be um, when when we went to the beach with my friends. We were in Badjan, if a lot of you aren't familiar. The sun was shining, the music was blasting, and the breeze was so perfect. These are the days where I can totally say, sana mauulit muli. But unfortunately, they don't happen every day. And I guess that's fine. A realization I've learned from that is that appreciation comes from the little things, because after all the extraordinary days are made up of the ordinary days. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Blaze. Next question. Okay, do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM? Afraid for love to fade. Remember a thing when you hear this OPM? Afraid for love to fade by Jose Marichan. May we call on Metro Manila Toastmasters Club? Metro
Yes, I'm
Manila.
here. I'm here.
Okay.
Let me just bring the time.
The floor is
Oh, this is the necklace my grandmother gave to me before she died. My grandmother used to be a sweet, kind, and loving person. She was afraid of getting into fights. She was afraid of seeing fights in front of her. I remember my uncle and my other uncle used to fight all the time. And then she fainted because she saw them fight. She was really a sweet and fragile person. When she died in 2018, I regretted so many things. I regretted that I wasn't able to go to her last birthday. I regretted that I wasn't able to be there for her on her deathbed. But most of all, I regretted that I wasn't able to show my love for her till the end of her days. Afraid for love to fade. Sometimes I think about how afraid I am of my love fading for my grandmother. Because every day that passes, I remember that she is gone. And sometimes I forget. And I'm afraid that my love for her will fade. But to you, Toastmasters and guests, I assure you that whenever I do see something, whenever I wear this necklace, I remember that my grandmother is the best thing that ever happened to me and that will ever happen to me for the rest of my life. So to all the people out there who are afraid for their love to fade for someone, don't be afraid. If you truly love them, your love for them will never fade. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sophia. Next question, number 5. Do you remember a place when you hear this OPM? When I Met You, Apple Hiking Society. Do you remember a place when you hear this OPM? When I Met You, Apple Hiking Society. May we call on City of Angeles Toastmasters Club?
Good afternoon. I'm here.
Good
Should I start now?
afternoon. Yes. Okay. Go.
Right. 10 years ago, I was introduced to my son, who was then 8 years old. And it was one of the moments that has changed my life. It happened here in Angeles City. And that's why I will always remember this city as the city that changed my life. I moved from Manila to working here because I had to be close to him, and I had to catch up because for 8 years, uh, he didn't know me, and I barely knew him. So there were a lot of memories that I had to build. I need to make up for the lost times, and it was a very wonderful thing that has ever happened to me. And it to say that it changed my life is an understatement, because as they say, you can never learn your capacity to love until you've had your own kid, maybe a son or a daughter. And my takeaway well, the greatest lesson that I learned from meeting him is that it's never too late to turn back and build a relationship with the people you've never had the chance to build relationship with. And I encourage everyone to find that courage to maybe reconnect with the people you've lost in whatever way, and not to be afraid of building a relationship that you've lost previously. Over to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jerry. Okay, next question. Do you remember a moment when you hear this OPM, Say That You Love Me by Regine Velasquez? Do you remember a moment when you hear this OPM, Say That You Love Me by Regine Velasquez? May we call on Awesome Toastmasters Club? Awesome Toastmasters Club?
Hello, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, good. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Say.
take the floor.
Okay.
Is it
Can,
my?
excuse me,
Okay.
Toastmaster Awesome. Can I ask Toastmaster Pilipinas to get the spotlight from the previous speaker? Can you get the spotlight? Okay, hold on for a while because I wasn't able to see you. Okay, remove the spotlight. Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Jerry. Okay, awesome. You can start now. Sorry for that.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Say that you love me and show me that you care. You know, this is a song that is very touching to everyone. I believe everyone has our own drive for being loved. And I assume every one of us has this first love that we have. You know, the passion is different than any love that we have encountered. And Say That You Love Me is one of the most affirming words that someone you love can say to you. Do you remember the time when you love someone so much that you have to ask her, do you love me? You have to tell me, do you love me? You have to have that verbal affirmation, that verbal words to tell you that, yes, I do love you. And sometimes, even though if love is not being felt, it when we say things to our loved ones, such as our father, our mother, our parents, our brothers or sisters, our special loved ones, we always we must always try to affirm one another. You know, it's something that the world lacks right now. Saying that you love one another. It's becoming cheesy. No one wants to say that word. It's so special. But I guess that's one thing that the world needs to hear right now is that we must love one another and that we must treat each other with respect and treat each other as human beings. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bruce from Awesome. Okay, we will proceed to the next question. Okay, do you remember a person when you hear this OPM? Isang tanong, isang sagot by Donna Cruz. Do you remember a person when you hear this OPM? Isang tanong, isang sagot by Donna Cruz. May we call on First Farmers Toastmasters Club. First Farmers. Is First Farmers around?
Hello, can you hear me? I'm here, Emily Go
Yes.
Villanueva, First Farmers Toastmasters Club.
Okay, you may start.
Isang tanong, isang sagot. My family are all boisterous. We were all trained to talk at the same time. We were very talented as a family. We can talk and listen to the next person's conversation at the same time. But I married somebody who is very, very quiet. He rarely speaks. You ask one thing, he answers you. And then you have to wait for the conversation to flow. And I had to get used to this. Being married to a guy who is so quiet, coming from the background such as mine, took a lot of patience. But you know what? When the questions get answered, it gives you a fulfillment like no other. Because the answers are deep and profound. Sometimes it's not in the many words that are spoken, but it's in the few words that you get. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you from First Farmers. Next question. Okay, do you remember a person when you hear this OPM, Paminsan-Minsan by Richard Reynoso? Do you remember a person when you hear this OPM, Paminsan-Minsan by Richard Reynoso? So let's call on Naga Toastmasters Club.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Toastmasters.
That's preposterous! I think that would be something that I would hear from my grandmother. That moment of spending with her is such a good moment because she is my opposite. My grandmother is a strong character which helps me to become a better person. She builds up in me something that people cannot understand. But I cannot tell them. Do you know what the secret is? Old songs like Paminsan-Minsan. What is important for me here is that old songs is something that reminds me of classical and traditional habits. My grandmother instilled that in me. I have learned at a very young age that important message that whatever your traditional habit is, it is there for a purpose. And so, my fellow Toastmasters, I encourage you that whether you may be seen as Baduy for liking old songs, it is still a part of you. And it's okay to sing paminsan-minsan once in a while, just to be yourself, just to remember the important people in yourself. Good evening.
Thank you, Toastmasters Rose from Naga. Next question. Okay, do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM? Someone's Always Saying Goodbye by Alona. Do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM? Someone's Always Saying Goodbye by Alona. May we call on Biba Sugbo, Toastmasters Club, or Cebu South?
Yes, Toastmaster.
Okay, good evening.
Topic master. All right. I remember a thing when you hear this. Someone's always saying goodbye. I always remember my grandfather from this saying, someone always saying goodbye, because he used to buy us this thing where you assemble and it's actually an airplane. And it reminds me a lot of things. First is that to soar high in life and or fly because you want it, and it has always reminds me when it gets tough, when you have people who don't want you to succeed. And whenever I see that thing, and it no longer exists, those kind of toys, but it's a good reminder to always, when I'm down, to always move forward. Back to the table topics master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Keisha from Viva Supu. Okay, next question. Okay, do you remember a place when you hear this OPM, Pangarap na Bituin by Sharon Cuneta? Do you remember a place when you hear this OPM, Pangarap na Bituin by Sharon Cuneta? May we call on Sulu State College Toastmasters Club?
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening. Okay, you may start.
When I hear the OPM, Pangarap na Bituin, there is one place that I will always remember, and that is the school where I am teaching, the Sulu State College. Simply because this school has opened door of opportunities for me. It started with accepting me as one of the employees, and then brought me to become a regular teacher in the school. And from that, I thought it was the end. But life made me realize that sometimes I am living in a preposterous life, because I thought I was just for instruction only, wherein I will be in a four-corner classroom facing learners and teaching them the lessons that I have prepared. But Sulu State College made me into a flexible person, because aside from just teaching, I was given designation to be a school paper advisor, and then also involved me to become a Toastmasters international member. So with all of these things happening in me, I think that having a dream that we think is not achievable, sometimes we can really achieve it. Yes. I thought I would be just the person who would sit as part of the members of the audience applauding for people on stage, but it's not. That dream that I thought to be something that is very far from me, I can also be that person on stage and listen to my audience applauding for me. So this song, Pangarap na Bituin, makes me realize that sometimes the dreams that we have, we think that it's very huge and very impossible. Sometimes God will make ways for us to achieve that, to reach that goal. You just have to keep believing in yourself and always keep the faith. God will lead you to that dream of yours. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmasters, Sulu State College. Okay, next question. Do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM? Bakit ngayon ka lang? Do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM? Bakit ngayon ka lang by Pops Fernandez? May we call on Real Page or Premier Business Professional Toastmasters Club?
Hello.
Ayan, good evening, Raniel, Toastmaster Raniel.
Bakit ngayon ka lang? Bakit ngayon? Kung kailan ang aking puso'y mayroon ng laman. Fellow Toastmasters and friends, we all know how many families that song break. This song is about doubting yourself why another person came in when you already love someone. Well, I cannot really relate to this in a way, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of us have a lot of doubts to the people that we love. Sometimes we think that the other side is a greener pasture because we see something that is different from the person that we currently love. But in reality, it's like what they say, the 80-20 rule. Sometimes all of those things that you like in that current lover will not be evident to the new person that is coming in. So what should you do? What should you do when you encounter this preposterous experience that you're feeling something exciting makes your heart flutter because of this new person, but you're currently in a relationship? Well, all that we can say during those moments is you need to hold on to the person that you love. Remember the time that you're still, if you're a guy, if you're still courting that person, maybe try to look back to the times that you're still getting her attention. If you're a woman, try to recall the times that you're being courted by your lover. And in that way, we might not be able to sing, "Bakit ngayon ka lang?" Because in reality, it's not that person, the new person that we're looking for. Sometimes it's the excitement. And we can always relieve that with the current person that we're in, the current person that we love. And that will actually the start of your own forever. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raniel from Real Page Toastmasters Club. Next question, number 12. Do you remember a person when you hear this OPM, muntik na kitang minahal? Do you remember a person when you hear this OPM, muntik na kitang minahal? Let's recall on Financial Planners Toastmasters Club.
Hi,
Good evening.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
you may start.
To be honest, I really can't remember any person when I hear this song, Muntik na kitang minahal, or when you translate it, I almost loved you. Why? Because in my lifetime, I only had one relationship, and that is with my husband now. And during that time, during the courting period, it was never muntik na kitang minahal because he really came at the right place and at the right time. And after so many years, it has been always us in this relationship. He was the only boyfriend that I had for 7 years. And right now, we are happily married for 16 years, being blessed with 2 kids, a boy and a girl. So there is really no place for this song in my life. However, if I am to give you an advice, if you're in that position wherein you are being courted by someone and you think that you're already falling for this person, yeah, you just have to pray for that person, or you just have to pray for that feelings, so that later on, God will show you the right path, and He will show you if He's really the right person for you. Back to you, TM. Table
Thank you.
topics master.
Thank you. Okay. Next question. Do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM, Mahal Ka Sa Akin by Tutsi Gibara? Do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM, Mahal Ka Sa Akin by Tutsi Gibara? May we call on Alab Toastmasters Club.
Um, yes, I'm here. Am I audible?
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay. Mahal ka sa akin. Well, personally, I'm not quite familiar with that song because if I am a fan of OPM songs, it would be R&B, R&B genre. But Mahal ka sa akin, the only thing that I can remember with this song is a camera. Why? Because it is something that is associated with the degree that I am taking right now. And it is the thing that I want to have right now. And it is quite expensive. Well, my phone has a camera, my laptop has a camera, but I want a camera that greatly and preciously captures every moment in my life. Those precious and presumptuous moment, preposterous um, moments in my life. Well, camera for me, it's not just a thing, but it is a diary where you can where you can stock your memories with the people you love, and it is also a thing that helps you look back to the past. And so, dear fellow Toastmaster, I hope you're also like me who likes to capture moments with my loved ones, who likes to capture moments in school, or who likes to capture different scenarios, different beautiful places in the world. And so, mahal ka sa akin, that thing is a camera. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Christy from Alab Toastmasters Club. So next question. Do you remember a place when you hear this OPM, bukas na lang kita mamahalin? Do you remember a place when you hear this OPM, bukas na lang kita mamahalin by Lani Misalucha? May we call on Jensen, Toastmasters Club?
Hello, good evening. Is my audio clear?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Davao City, 2003. When I met my husband, I was a student, or rather an applicant in a formation house for a mission, Catholic lay mission. That place was very memorable for me because I chose to be there even though I had a very good job offer back in Metro Manila. But I made my choice and I went there to pursue my passion in being a missionary. But I guess plans really do change when the right person comes. I was 2 weeks shy away from being sent to my mission place, yet I decided to quit the formation house in order to be with my husband, with my then boyfriend who is now my husband. But why bukas na lang kita mamahalin? Because I needed to wait for some time to make that decision. I was not yet ready when we first met, but there was a lot of detours. I went back to our place in Dokban, Quezon, went back to Davao, then go back to Jensen in order for us to be together. Even if it was bukas na lang kita mamahalin, I know that in my heart, it would be forever. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Teresita from Jensen. Okay, next question. Do you remember a moment when you hear this OPM, till my heart takes end? Do you remember a moment when you hear this OPM till my heart aches? And by LMA Casison. May we call on Cabalen San Fernando Toastmasters Club?
Good evening, Toastmaster Belen. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. Yes.
Have you ever had your heart broken? Till my heart aches and oh my gosh, I've been heartbroken. Not once, not twice, not thrice, but a lot of times. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends. Have you ever been heartbroken just like me? Well, for sure, you probably said yes. It's because life is not life without any heartbreaks. You may have had heartbreaks in terms of love life, or maybe with your family, or maybe with your friendships, or maybe with your colleagues at work. Wherever you have experienced those heartbreaks, I know, you are strong because you are standing here right now. I have had a heartbreak a lot of times before. And 2 years ago, my parents were actually on the verge of divorce. I said to myself, that is preposterous. That is absurd. I absorbed all the negativities during that time. I wake up feeling like it was always the end of the world. But thankfully, God is always there to guide us along the way. It is through prayers, it is through standing strong and standing firm that against all of these shakings and breakings, here we are now. We relied to God more than ever because in Him, there's faith, there's strength, and there is unity. Now, as I look back, I am very much thankful that I have experienced that with my parents and with my family. We have been fully restored now. And it was through those testings and breakings that we have proved stronger and better than ever. Now, we talk as if there was nothing that happened in the past, but that breakings and shakings, those breakings and shakings have actually built a stronger foundation in us. Until your heartaches end, my dear friends, fellow Toastmasters, do not give up. Hold on. Pray to God. And I know for sure that you will endure that. You will come out stronger, tougher, and better than ever. Back to you, Toastmaster, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Casey from Cabalen. Okay, next, may we call on Pine City? So this is a task, a question, roadblock. So roadblock means that the table topic speaker has to give the same topic to an opponent club team to answer before delivering his or her speech. May we call on Pine City? So this is a task. Pine City.
VJ.
Okay. Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Okay.
What club would you like to answer? Your opponent club.
Is it an opponent club that has not yet taken this round?
Yes.
May I know which clubs are still not yet done with this round?
Mactan.
First blood, Mactan.
Okay, you go for Mactan. So at least we have first time. Okay, Mactan. Maybe we can have Mactan so that we have a fast track. Okay, Mactan.
Okay, Mactan. Mactan Toastmasters.
Our racer cannot unmute. Toastmaster Elizar.
Okay, this is the questions. Do you remember a person when you hear this OPM, Bakit Kung Sino Pa by Lloyd Umali? Do you remember a person when you hear this OPM, Bakit Kung Sino Pa by Lloyd Umali? Mactan Toastmasters Club, are you ready?
Hi, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes.
Excuse me, 150 one night, 200 two nights. I remember these words in a street in Cebu called Colon Street. But the question is, a person. Do you remember a person? Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and friends. I would like to share to you one of my mentor, the one that I idolize more, and that's Sir Bobby Aboitiz. He is a businessman. He is one of the richest person and family in the Philippines and in Asia. But he was remembered not because he is a businessman, not because he's a philanthropist, but because he is the person who loves Cebu so much. This person dreamed of Colon to become a pedestrianized streets. If you're familiar with Cebu, Cebu City, Colon Street is the first civilized streets in the entire nation in the Philippines around early 15th century. That is where the first business and commerce, engagement, economy was boosted in the country. And right now, all the buildings is deteriorating, and it's prosperous to see that it's deteriorating the precious heritage and culture that we are protecting in Cebu. But this guy saw the vision. He said to himself that success is no accident. It is a long journey to a destination of success. Fellow Toastmasters and friends, this guy died in 2017. And I told to myself, why him? He's a good guy, visionary guy. He was even forced to run for mayor for Cebu City. Again, the known last name here in Cebu City. Why him? There's so much thing to do, and I felt heartbroken. I felt disappointed. And I just realized this guy may be passed away, but his vision, his dream for Cebu remains to the people who adopted it. That includes me. Fellow Toastmaster and friends, in this time of pandemic, don't live as if your day will extend a month, a years, or 5 years from now. Live one day at a time. Appreciate your family member. Appreciate your friends. Text them, call them, because at this time of uncertainty, we don't know what will happen in the next days, in the following. Call them, text them, and say, "Kumusta ka?" Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmasters Elizar from Mactan. So Pine City, the floor is yours. Pine City Toastmasters Club, the floor is yours.
There are many times, especially when I was in away from my family, that, or rather, when my mom is away, and she would call us. The first thing that she would ask is, "How are the dogs?" or "How are the cats?" And then we always just have to ask, bakit kung sino pa? Why is it the ones you call first, you ask about last? How are you? Why would you ask about the dogs first or the cats first when we are your family? And that is something that we really always feel when our moms ask that question. And that is because we have pets. And pets are like children as well. When you keep on giving on those pets because you love them. And that is why I think that the pets are very blessed. But at the same time, I realize that why are they giving more attention to pets rather than to us, their children? Maybe it's time that instead of us, the children, always keep on receiving, we give as well. We can give back to our parents, give back to others, or give to our pets. However, still do think that we deserve more love. Back to you, Toastmaster. Table
Thank
topic.
you, Toastmaster Bess from Pine City. Next question. Do you remember a moment when you hear this OPM, Bituin Walang Ningning by Sharon Cuneta? Do you remember a moment when you hear this OPM, Bituin, Walang Ningning by Sharon Cuneta. May we call on Mactan Toastmasters Club?
Already done, already done. Call already done. So we have Mad and Crystal.
Hi.
Okay, there's the Mad and Crystal.
Hi.
Okay,
Yes.
can you interpret Toastmaster Belen?
I will need the
Toastmaster Belen.
translation.
Toastmaster Belen, what's the English for this?
Oh, star without shine. Bituin, Walang Ningning.
Stars that are not shining, I guess.
Oh yes, the stars that are not shining. Yes.
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master. The first thought that I thought of when I saw this title, which I will probably not say it out instead because I might butcher this, is the movie A Star is Born. If you all are familiar with the movie, it is about a singer who got famous, and then because of unforeseen circumstances, she then became irrelevant, I would say. Yes. But the moment that I think of when I think about a star without a shine is in my line of work, I wouldn't say I meet a lot of celebrities, but a lot of tryhards, right? Influencers as well that are trying to be someone, but they are not. So then they will ask for favors, for tips, even though, let's say, their Instagram engagement rate is not that high. So I will compare them to a star that is not a star. On the other hand, I will also say that a star that has no glow or lost its shine would be singers who are way past their prime. Yes. But the exact moment would be when a star lost its shine, it doesn't mean that they lost their talent. Talent is what makes us who we are, and we are born with it. So even though we are a star without a shine or a glow, does that mean we're not a star anymore? In my opinion, I think they're still a star, but just covered by the night sky. So we have to ask ourselves, are we a star without shine, simply covered by the night sky? Or have we really lost our shine? Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ida from Mad Crystal, Malaysia.
We still have the last one, the messed one. Can you call? Besides, they are the last person to answer. Mess one, Toastmasters Club, the one that is being skipped a while ago.
TMX Toastmasters.
Okay, Mess.
Timex, sorry, Timex. It's my call.
Okay, Timex. Okay. Okay, Timex. Okay, this is your question, Timex. Do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM, Kaba by Tutsi Guevara? Do you remember a thing when you hear this OPM, Kaba by Tutsi Guevara? Timex.
Just this Friday, I had my 6th prenatal with my OB because I am on my 6th month of my pregnancy. And during the time, it was the moment that I have told myself I am really nervous when I heard no heartbeat of my baby for almost 10 minutes. My OB has been looking for it. It has been 10 minutes have passed. So my husband told me that please take a video while the OB is getting the Doppler to check the heartbeat of the baby. But then my OB told me, can you please turn it off? Maybe he is shy. That is why his heartbeat was not showing. And during those 10 minutes, it was the longest 10 minutes of my life. And the Doppler, that is what I am remembering each time I feel kaba. And during those time, I was just there closing my eyes, and then I stopped the video. I closed my eyes and just prayed that the OB would be able to hear the heartbeat. Unfortunately, maybe he is a camera shy, not unlike his mom, which is
not shy at any way when I am in front of the camera because my husband is a photographer. Unlike him, he was a camera shy. And fortunately, after 10 minutes, my OB was able to hear the heartbeat. I was really hoping to hear it because, when I saw the Doppler, it was really kaba. I have been feeling during that time. So I don't want to feel that again in my next prenatal session. And I hope, but during that time, I was holding on to to God and to my positive attitude that everything will be fine. And I know that I've been taking care of myself the whole time. I've been doing yoga every day. I am doing some 20-minute walk every day just to make sure that my baby is fine. So whatever, even if I see the Doppler next time, I will not feel kaba anymore, but I will feel the courage to go on with what I am doing because I am doing everything for my baby. Back to you, Toastmaster, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nieves from Timex. Okay, so my takeaway message for tonight, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Again, this is Toastmaster Glenda from Pilipinas Toastmasters Club. So I know before I turn over the virtual stage to our next club route, I would like to invite you to our fourth Filipino contest on August 28. Okay, so I hope to see you sa ika-4 na patampalak na sa wikang Tagalog sa Agosto 28, 2021. So I now turn over to the next club route. Ayan. Ayan po yung aming poster. Sa August 28 po, makita-kita po tayong lahat. Ika-4 na paligsahan sa wikang Pilipino. So I now turn over the virtual stage to our next club route, Metro Manila Toastmasters Club, the last leg. Thank you and good night.